It's match preview for West Ham versus Leicester City. West Ham, of course, come off the back of a big win against Arsenal at the weekend, and one that you'd hope now would breathe some belief into the team, and that we can go on and get back-to-back wins in the Premier League, which will be the first time this season, which is ridiculous, really, to say, isn't it? Considering the expectations when we what we had in the summer at one point. But look, it's for me, it's like you just want to draw a line under it. We've got Graham Potter now. Things are feeling a lot better at the club. So let's hope that we can sort of kick on a little bit and end this season in a strong manner and ahead of a summer, busy summer, which is expected. And then obviously into next season. But look, this is a great opportunity for West Ham to be playing a team like Leicester, who are struggling badly, have been very disappointing, haven't they, since their return, from the Championship last season. Look, before going to the preview though, if you're new to the channel, do subscribe. It takes 2 seconds to do so. We really do appreciate it. Also hit that like button. We've been getting some decent volume on these likes. I tell you, it does make a big difference. So we really do appreciate it. So thank you for that. Right, let's talk about Leicester City. I mean, as I say a minute ago, it's been incredibly disappointing for them, hasn't it, so far? They have been incredibly underwhelming. And when you think of Leicester City, and also I'm including Southampton in this, they are Premier League clubs. You know what I mean? They have been Premier League clubs for a long time, and they may not be teams that are sides that are necessarily always going to be challenging top end of a Premier League. I mean, Leicester have done very well in recent seasons, FA Cup and Premier League title, been amazing. The fact they've come up and really been as bad as they have, it's pretty shocking. Actually, I know a couple of people that are Leicester fans, and they are bitterly disappointed. They really are. They were broken-hearted when they got relegated. Of course, naturally, of course, you're going to be. But as I say, when you consider the fact of how good they have been, and not just in terms of their success, but how they've operated, Leicester. They've got their good stadium, King Power. It suits them to a T in terms of how its capacity and everything about it, the area and everything about Leicester. Just think they seems to get it right. Their recruitment's always been pretty good. They had Brendan Rodgers in. He did very well, didn't he? There, I think he won them the FA Cup, didn't he? And also their training facilities. They've got training facilities that puts West Ham, like clubs like us, to shame. It's proper top draw. They're a big club. They're a good club, and it was pretty shocking to see them get relegated in the first place, really. I mean, considering the fact that they have been so established in the Premier League for such a sustained period of time. So the relegation always felt like it would be a one-off, a temporary, look, we're going to go down, we'll get rid of some deadwood, we'll reinvest. Obviously, they've got the decent, they're not a poor football club. Parachute payments as well obviously helps, and would come back up. And they did. They came straight back up. And all right, it wasn't the easiest. It wasn't as if they flew and cruised it, but they got back up nonetheless. And then, of course, they had to change their manager. They brought in Steve Cooper. I think that was immediately the alarm bells, I think, for me, when they brought in Cooper. And there's no disrespect to him. I don't mean it in a horrible way, because I just don't find him the most inspiring. I'm not sure he's the sort of manager you really want when you get back to the Premier League and you want, right, let's get someone that's going to keep us up. Let's go for Steve Cooper. Doesn't really. It didn't. I didn't think it was the right appointment, to be honest. As I say, I don't want to sort of be nasty towards him because he seems a decent bloke, but I just felt that that's probably not going to work out, and it didn't. And then they go and get Ruud van Nistelrooy. Don't get me wrong, lovely bloke. I saw an interview of him recently, and he comes across so well. He's a real decent fella, and fantastic career of Manchester United, and obviously with Holland, and he's done really well. He then goes into Manchester United to take the manager role as a caretaker when Ten Hag was sacked, and he did all right in those few games. But to hire him off the back of that was a real big gamble, and I think, if you're an owner of a football club that are struggling in the Premier League and you really need to stay up, you really do need to stay up. You don't go and appoint someone that's barely had any experience. It just seems such a silly gamble to take when you've got to look at the likes of, say, Everton, who desperately were struggling and doing really bad. They go to David Moyes, an experienced guy, knows the league. He knows what's required to get through a relegation battle. He's done it with West Ham enough, hasn't he, for God's sake? So I just found it really odd appointment to go for Van Nistelrooy, and I just feel like it's backfiring. It kind of epitomises where they are as a football club. That sort of decision making, just odd decisions, clearly not well thought through. It's sort of a bit knee jerk, and I worry for Leicester now. I look at them now. When they first got relegated, obviously 2 seasons ago now, I thought that they would only be down temporarily. It would be a one-off. down there for one season, come straight back up, and they'd be pretty comfortable. But seeing them this season, I don't know. I'm not so sure now. I'm looking at them thinking I can see a period of where they could be dropping to the Championship and staying there for a while. I don't. I mean, the Championship in the Premier League, the gulf is huge. We know that, and so I've got some sympathy. But as I say, it's not as if they're a club that's come to the Premier League like a Luton that's come up a little bit against the odds, come up and right, we don't really know a lot about this league. We're going to try and find out as we go, kind of thing. Leicester are an established Premier League club, for a long time. They know what's required. They know the levels of quality they need. The fact they're still relying on Jamie Vardy, who's bloody in his late 30s. Don't get me wrong, he's done. I'm still so impressed with him. I mean, unbelievable. He's like bloody Benjamin Button, and he never gets any older. But it's another sign of where Leicester are. You're relying on someone of that age and to be one of your main players. It's just I'm really saddened for Leicester, as I say, 'cause I know a couple of people from there, and I know they're really upset with it, and it is a shame to see them in that position. And I'm quite surprised. I wasn't expecting it to be this bad, but they have been really bad. I know Southampton have been worse. I mean, my God, they have been diabolically bad. And again, another club, as I say, like with that Premier League pedigree, they know the league. They've been here a long time, and they both of them look so naive this season. They've been so poor in their decision making. And Leicester, I just think, well, they're going down. I'm sure of that. I think the bottom three are the bottom three now. I think that's well, Southampton are most definitely gone, but yeah, Leicester, I don't see them getting out of it. And the thing is, with Leicester, I don't even really see much fight from them. When I'm watching them play, I don't see a team that are going right. We're going to get out. I'm saying that now. They're going to do that at bloody London Stadium, aren't they? That's what we're going to see. Which I've got to be honest, actually, West Ham should be a little bit wary of. Leicester, if they're going to mount a challenge to stay in this league, it's got to start soon enough. You know what I mean? And every game is a cup final for them now, so we may see that. But I just feel like from what I've seen of them this season, they lack so much quality. They are so behind in terms of what's needed. Really, they're a championship side. That's what I'm seeing, and it is what it is. It's a shame, a club that have done so well. Don't get me wrong; these fans have had success in recent years that they never would have imagined. The fact they won the Premier League was an amazing moment, not just for the Premier League, sport in general, for the world. It was amazing to see it. It gives everyone hope, and I'll always be, grateful for that in a way, because I think, God, what, if they can do it, we can do it. Do you know what I mean? They've given that sort of hope to everyone, so it was an amazing time. And obviously, as I say, they went and won the FA Cup as well. What a moment for them. So these fans have had success. I'm not saying that, oh my God, poor old Leicester fans, but you want to build on things, don't you? You want to keep going, and they just feel like they've really collapsed. And I do get the impression a little bit whether their ownership are that interested anymore, I don't know, or whether they'd financially be able to get the club where it needs to be. I'm not sure, but there's certainly issues at that club, and the decision making is one of them. I don't know who made that call on Van Nistelrooy, but that was a ridiculous gamble, really. And as I say, it just feels like it's backfired massively. But Leicester fan, by the way, if you're a Leicester fan watching this, feel free to comment and tell me I'm all wrong. But I mean, I'm only saying it from a perspective of a West Ham fan that's sort of, work very much on the outside looking in, and that's what I'm seeing. I do worry for Leicester. I do feel for them a lot, Leicester, and it's a shame to see them in this position. But it is what it is. They are facing Championship football again next season, and they're going to be hoping that they can sort of have that energy then to go and do it all again. It's not easy, is it? We've been down there. We know how tough it can be. Right, on to West Ham. Team news, first of all, there isn't really any. It's pretty much exactly the same as it was for the Arsenal game. No Paqueta yet, he's not available for this. Soufal is still unavailable. Of course, we've got no Antonio, got no Fulkrug or Somerville. So it's basically the exact same team in terms of availability. So, and I'll reflect that a little bit in my team selection shortly. Look, this has been a good week, isn't it? This has been a really good week to be a West Ham fan, and we haven't had many good weeks this season. Anything to cheer about. So the fact we've had, something to be very, very happy about, and in what was achieved against Arsenal on Saturday. It's just great, and I've been itching to get to this game because you want to keep playing, don't you? When you win, you just want to, you want to play the next day. So really looking forward to this one. That Arsenal win has the potential to be such a big moment for Graham Potter and West Ham. It really could be. If West Ham can build on that now between now and the end of the season, it could be something that we look back on in a year's time and go, God, you remember we were doing so bad and we won that Arsenal game, and ever since then we've just been on this trajectory. And I really hope that is the case. And but let's be honest, that there's a really good feel-good factor around West Ham at the moment. It's it's hard to actually explain it, isn't it? Because a lot of people will see West Ham's position in the league. You know, I think we're 16th, aren't we, at the moment? Something like that. Yeah, 16th. We're 16th. Should don't maybe know that. 16th in the league. And if so, for people looking at and also looking at results under Potter, they're probably going, "Oh, it ain't been that great." But I'm trying to explain to them there's a really good feeling about West Ham at the moment. We're all really feeling good about next season, excited for the summer. I mean, we've got to get through the rest of this season, of course, but relegation's now gone. We don't have to worry about that at all. Not that it was really there, but it's nice that it's now been a line's been drawn under that. And obviously, we can't achieve European football or anything like that. So it's more for pride, really. But I feel like also it's a good opportunity for Graham Potter. He can work out his team now. He's got the pressure's off. He can experiment a little bit and see what he wants for next season. I actually feel like this is part of a big long pre-season for him for next year. So I don't think things are really bad at West Ham at all. And I'm hoping we get that feeling against Leicester, that feeling that we can go into this game with that buoyancy of a big win, but also that feeling that we're building and we're going to start getting a bit of momentum going now, because we really do need it. We've had it's been so poor for such a sustained period of time, and it's great now to feel like we're turning a corner as a football club and starting to look up. It's really good. I want to also, before I mention Ollie Scholes, I mean, I'm so pleased with this guy. I mean, he is an incredible player. He's come from that academy and just shows the level of quality we possess there. I mean, I've got nothing but amazing things to say about him. He is just a wonderful player for his age. I mean, he's come into this team and he's made that position is his now. He is firmly our first choice left wing back, and long may it continue because he's been exceptional. So yeah, really, really, really pleased with him. Right, let's go on to the team. So this is going to be my team. I'd like to know what you think and what changes you'd make. Give me your team and all that kind of jazz. And also your all-important score predictions. Right, so in goal, I'm going to go for Alphonse Areola. Not changing anything. I mean, he didn't put a foot wrong, did he? Or a glove wrong, whatever, against Arsenal. I mean, he didn't have a lot to do, to be honest. I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but he didn't, did he? I mean, he didn't do a lot. So yeah, absolutely, he keeps his place just for consistency as well. Getting the defence in front of him, or getting used to one another, and playing with each other more regularly. So yeah, I wouldn't change anything. My defence back five. So obviously you're going to have Aaron Wan-Bissaka as my right wing back, and then I'm going to have Ollie Scholes as my left wing back, and the back three are going to be Jean-Claude Todibo, with Max Kilman in the middle and Aaron Creswell, the rejuvenated, the reborn Aaron Creswell. And again, another player that just seems to be doing so well. I mean, I never thought he'd have the sort of impact he's having this season. It's supposed to be his last season really at the club, but I'm actually starting to think, well, maybe offer him another year, have to keep him around. I'm not saying he's got to be a first choice or anything like that, but he's proven to be a vital player to have in the squad, isn't he? He's been excellent. So yeah, that's my back line. My midfield pairing are going to be Edson Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse, who I think were both outstanding against Arsenal. And then I'm going to go for a front three. I'm dropping Thomas Souček for this one. I want to go for a bit more attacking. I'm going to have Jared Bowen out on the right, Kudus onto the left-hand side, sort of a front three, with Evan Ferguson as the striker. I don't see why we won't play Evan Ferguson for this game. I really hope he starts, because at the end of the day, he's on loan. We want to see if he's fit and available. I want to get him playing. I want to get him in the goals now. That would really help us as well. If we can get some goals in this game and get some players off the mark that need it, those sort of goals, I feel like it could just, again, be that real boost that we need for the final. Will be the final 11 games then, won't it, after this one? So, yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. And I'm going to give my prediction for this game. And I rarely do this. I rarely ever say anything like this, but I think we're going to win quite well. I think we're going to win 4-0. I really do. I've got this feeling we're going to win well. I know, and I've had a couple of comments already. Bloody hell, Mark! Every time you get excited for games, we always lose. Look, it could well happen. It could well happen. Leicester could show up and show that dog fight and get in there, get stuck in, and we'll be like, oh my god, they're fighting for their lives. That could happen. But I just think at the moment we're going to have too much quality. As I say, I see them really as a championship side. So regardless of their attitude, in terms of if they come in and want to fight, I think we should have enough quality to be able to deal with it. And to score some goals, I say it'd be nice to get some of the players in the goals, wouldn't it? Evan Ferguson obviously being the main one, but also Mohamed Kudus, get him off the mark as well. We want to say off the mark, he has scored goals obviously, but you know what I mean. It feels like he hasn't scored for a while, and he could do with a goal. I think I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to this game. I really hope this isn't going to be another Brentford where it was looking forward to it all week for it to be totally ruined. So I really hope that's not the case. But yeah, let's wait and see how we how we crack on. Yeah, so leave your predictions down and let us know what you think of the team and where you want to make any changes to it. And yeah, we'll wait and see how we get on. Until then, anyway, it's fingers crossed we get a good result. And until then, come on, you Irons.